Hello and welcome to Online Chemistry 100 and Chemistry 110 at Del Tech. My name is Dr. Mark Taylor. I think we can all agree that online learning or distance or remote learning is not exactly the optimal way to take a college course. Many of you are not completely comfortable with online learning format, and that's quite understandable. Hopefully we can get back to something somewhat normal soon. I strongly recommend that you take notes while viewing this and the other videos for this class, but the vast majority of this information in this video can be found in one of two very important reference documents that are linked in the Week 1 lesson plan announcement. The Welcome to Online Chem 100 or Chem 110 reference document and the Policies and Expectations document. The Welcome document tells you where everything's located along with contact info for a wide variety of support services offered at Del Tech. And the Policies and Expectations document tells you the rules and regulations, most of which are set by the campus or by the Del Tech Science Department. Print these out in case you forget or miss something during the orientation videos. While you can just read the Welcome document as you need it, it's strongly recommend you read the entire Policy and Expectations document to understand the Del Tech policies for this class. As you know, Chem 100 and Chem 110 are introductory courses in chemistry, and like any introductory course, much of the material is going to be new to you. I know that most of you have had high school chemistry, but for many of you it was years ago, so we're going to assume this is your first exposure to the material. This is a college course, however, so the pace is a bit faster than you might be used to in high school. If you're taking this course in the summer, it's an accelerated 10-week session instead of the usual 15-week session during the spring or fall semester, so the pace is even faster still. In any case, it's extremely important you do your absolute best to keep to the course schedule in terms of watching the lecture videos as well as submitting the labs, quizzes, and exams on time. Now, obviously, online learning is not the best situation for most students or instructors. For most of us, face-to-face learning is certainly the preferred way to go. I'm certainly aware that you have enormous life responsibilities and the pandemic doesn't help the situation. Now, despite the many issues with online learning, I hope this format presents you with at least one advantage in taking in-person on-campus courses. I'm referring to the fact that this online course uses asynchronous learning, which might be beneficial to many of you. If you haven't heard the term asynchronous refers to the fact that the lecture videos are not in sync with real time. In other words, you can watch them anytime you want 24/7. This is not a synchronous course in which we'd meet at a specific time together on Zoom or in the classroom a couple times a week. Remember, you're absolutely required to watch these videos because we're not in a physical classroom and these videos are your class lectures. You can watch the videos anytime, so it's your responsibility to follow each weekly lesson plan and watch those videos following the schedule that's posted. The overall course schedule can be found on the contents page in D2L. I strongly recommend that you look that schedule over. It includes links to all of your weekly lecture video responsibilities, your lab and other assignments, your quiz and exam assessments, etc., along with due dates for each of those. In addition, each week you'll receive a weekly lesson plan announcement with active links and reminders to all the assessments and assignments due for that particular week. Now, you'll hear me say this throughout the semester. It's important for you to take advantage of the many resources available to you. If you need help, if you're struggling with the material, if it's chemistry related, technical, or even administrative, please do not hesitate to contact me immediately by email, mg.taylor, Taylor, at dtcc.edu. Or you can come to our office hours or come to the virtual tutoring center on the hours that I'm working. Now, there are multiple chemistry tutors available at the virtual tutoring center, and I'm one of those tutors, and the center is open 6 days a week. It opens at 9:30 a.m. on Mondays through Fridays, and the center closes at 7:30 p.m. on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but it closes a little earlier on Fridays at 4:30 p.m. The center is also open on Saturdays, but the hours are a little shorter. It opens at 10:30 a.m. and closes at 2:30 p.m. Now, I'm assigned different hours every semester, so I'll post my tutoring hours as soon as I know them. Tutoring Center is closed on Sundays, school holidays, and special times when Del Tech may authorize a shutdown. As for office hours by Zoom, I'll do my best to keep regular online office hours open even during holidays or school closings for any reason, assuming I still have internet. Zoom links and schedules for both office hours and the Virtual Tutoring Center are posted in the opening welcome announcement that you'll find when you open up the course in D2L. Zoom addresses for both office hours and the Virtual Tutoring Center also appear in the email signature at the bottom of all my emails. Both office hours and the Virtual Tutoring Center are completely optional. You can pop into either one at any time during the scheduled period. You don't need an appointment, though you're more than welcome to make one for either in case you want to make sure that I'm available to talk with on a one-on-one basis. If none of those times work for you, you can meet with other tutors at the Virtual Tutoring Center. Or you can meet with me. Just send me an email with a couple possible times to get together by Zoom. Assume we'll use the office hours Zoom link if I'm not scheduled to be at the tutoring center at that time. Remember, this is your chance to ask questions, make comments, or just scream your frustrations. It's your time, so please take advantage of it. Now, as I mentioned, office hours in the Virtual Tutoring Center are completely optional, but Del Tech policy states that each student must have some classroom contact with the instructor during the first 2 weeks of the spring or fall semester or during the first week of the summer semester. If no contact is made with the instructor, me, during that 2-week period in the spring or fall or the first week in the summer, instructors are required to report that student as a, quote, never attended. The instant the student is reported to the system as a never attended, that student is immediately dropped from the course with a U grade for unofficial withdrawal, which you absolutely want to avoid. The U grade results in you having to pay back your financial aid, getting a failing grade towards your GPA, and even preventing you from re-enrolling next semester. But believe it or not, it's quite simple to avoid the situation. So, as I mentioned, for week 1's attendance requirement, you can complete an ungraded or graded assignment. And the easiest way to do this is to just submit your student questionnaire. You can find the student questionnaire on either the week 1 announcement or the course schedule in D2L. Click on student questionnaire, download the file, complete the questionnaire, and submit it to assignments by the first Friday of the semester. And that will complete your requirement for the first week's attendance. Or you could log into our Zoom-based office hours or my hours at the campus's Zoom-based virtual tutoring center. URLs and times for each of those are posted in D2L. Log in to say hi, tell me about yourself, and we can verbally complete your student questionnaire together. I'll just type in your information and you'll be good to go. If you prefer, you can also submit one of your graded assessments for week 1. During week 2, however, you must submit a graded assessment to fulfill your attendance requirement. There are several quizzes and lab, and there's a safety training, etc., depending on which course you're taking, and any one of these will satisfy your attendance requirement for the second week, as long as you submit it by the second Friday of the semester. Note, if you're taking the 10-week accelerated version of the course, or eventually one of the 7-week versions of the accelerated version of the course, typically in the summer, you'll have to submit both assessments by the first week's Friday to fulfill the attendance requirement. And then you're good for the whole semester as far as the never attended reporting goes. Now, you can still get a U in the course by just stopping work, in other words, ghosting the class. Del Tech policy states that if you have a failing grade due to, quote, inactivity in the class, that is, you stop taking the quizzes and exams and you've stopped submitting labs, again, instructors are required to assign that student a U grade instead of a simple F for the course. So it's always better to drop the course before drop date than to stay enrolled and stop submitting work to the class. All right, so my primary means of communication with students is by my Del Tech email that I mentioned before, mg.taylor, that's mg.taylor@dtcc.edu. I generally check my email 7 days a week, several times a day, so I should get back to you pretty quickly. As I mentioned, your weekly lesson plans are posted as announcements, but I'll also use email to contact you directly. Make sure you check your Deltec email daily to avoid any miscommunication. If it's an emergency, you can call or text me using my cell number, which is also in both the welcome announcements and in the signature in my emails. If you have any issues logging onto a test or exam that will close soon, or it shuts down accidentally while you're in the middle of the test or quiz, that is considered an emergency. If that should happen, do not panic. I should be able to modify the test criteria, including due dates, to solve your issue. Just text me or call me and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Don't worry, I won't hold you responsible for system glitches. We'll figure out a solution to the issue together. Now, just as a heads up, the Unit 1 chemistry and measurement material for this class is particularly dry. It's not exciting, but it is important to your success with all calculations for the entire semester. It deals with math as it relates to sciences. And for most of you, when you've taken math courses, you treat numbers as exact numbers. In sciences, however, dealing with numbers and calculations can be quite different than you might be used to. Many, if not most, of the numbers that you deal with in science are actually measurements, not exact numbers or defined numbers. Some are. And some of those measurements are high quality and some of those measurements are low quality measurements. High quality and low quality refers to the fact that you can only trust so many digits in that measurement. For example, do I owe my goddaughter Brielle about $1,000? Or do I owe her closer to $990? Or do I owe her exactly $989.78? They're all about the same value, but they have different number of significant digits or significant figures, sig figs for short, in the number. The first unit discusses the concept of these sig figs, which is probably new to most of you. So try to hang in there when we're discussing the concept of sig figs and how to keep track of them in all of your calculations. This concept will be key to you earning all the points you can on the labs, quizzes, and exams. Now, one final note before we close. You'll notice in the videos and during the Zoom tutorial sessions, I frequently talk loudly. I notice I'm doing it right now. That's because I have moderate to severe hearing loss in the high frequency sound ranges. Unfortunately, that's what happens when you play drums for several decades. I end up talking loudly, so I'll probably do it again in a minute. My talking loudly is partly due to my great passion for science, but unfortunately it's also due to my hearing loss, and it turns out that my hearing aids don't work well for this type of hearing loss. So I apologize in advance. I assure you, I am not yelling at you. I just tend to drift into louder speech because of my damaged hearing. Now, please let me know if my voice gets louder and it irritates you. Feel free to say, Dr. Taylor, you're getting loud. And I'll say, okay, thanks for reminding me. I'll try to quiet down. Believe it or not, you'll actually be helping me by reminding me to bring the volume lower. I won't take the reminder personally. I just don't want to give you the impression it's anything besides my partial hearing loss. Well, to wrap up, please remember to follow the weekly lesson plan announcements or the overall course schedule for the class. They'll both appear on D2L, both of which have links to everything you need to watch, read, download, complete, and submit for the class for each week. With that, I wish you the best of luck, and as always, please feel free to ask questions when you need assistance. Thank you very much.